This podcast was recorded on the land of the Gadigal people of the Eora Nation.
Guys, welcome back to another episode of Mad About You. First one of the year, 2nd of January. How you going?
Wow, that's so exciting. Hey.
That's the sort of energy I'm bringing to 2025 anyway, guys.
I love that for you. That's a first.
Oh, wow. Okay. That's a New Year's resolution of mine, to match Jad's energy.
Yeah, you should speak you should speak with a smile because then you sound happier.
Yeah, I do with Fletcher. It works.
Okay, what about here?
What? We're not always talking about smiling topics.
We are most of the time, and most of the time you're frowning.
Okay. Wow, all right. Way to shut me down on my New Year's resolution. All right, guys, on today's pod, we have Dr Lurve back in the studio, actually, because we enjoyed our chat with her so much last time. We wanted to dive a little bit deeper into relationships and specifically speak to her today, mainly about breakups and why relationships don't work. But before we get into the meat of today, Jad wants to start off by doing a TikTok trend she saw, which is called We Listen and We Don't Judge. Now, I did have to look this one up because I had no idea what the hell it was, which is most trends that Jad tells me about.
Yeah, we missed the boat with the trend a little bit, but I thought we'd do it here on the pod. Thought that would be funner than...
How long do you have before you miss the boat on a trend?
On TikTok, 5 days max.
Jesus.
Those things turn around real quick on TikTok. So
all right, well,
we really missed the boat.
Pretend I don't know what it is again.
In TikTok time, it's been years, really.
That's weird. But why don't you tell us about the trend?
Well, you basically it's like making a confession. So you just take turns making confessions and, you say we listen and we don't judge, and you don't judge the person about the confession they've made, and you just listen. So
whatever you say, whatever you confess to, I just have to look you and smile and go, awesome.
I'm sure you'll have words, sweetheart.
But it's not judge. Isn't that rule of the game?
Well, according to you, I'm sure you'd say it's a question, not a judgment.
All right, well... Get cracking then. What do you got for me?
Okay, so you go, we listen and we don't judge. Okay, my first one is sometimes when you get haircuts I don't like, I state facts about them instead of saying how they look.
Like what?
like, oh, it's short, or oh, it's long.
Why is that so funny? Because I'm not judging, guys, so I'll just give you a bit of context here.
Here we go.
So, okay, well, this matters. I don't care about my hair, right? When Jad tells me, she goes, look, I think you need a haircut. And I go, not a problem at all. Give me half an hour, I'll go get one. And I go, what would you like me to do with my hair, Jadé? And recently she goes, I'd really like if you got short around the sides and back and didn't touch the top. I'd like you to keep it long. And then I came home, took off my hat, and I look like Thomas Shelby. I look like a Peaky Blinder.
You misinterpreted what I said.
I look like a Peaky Blinder. And then she goes, oh, it's a bit harsh. And I was like, you told me what to do.
I didn't say that. I said it definitely looks like Thomas Shelby.
Yeah, okay. So a synonym for harsh, I guess. But what I don't understand is you're whinging about it not looking good even though you explicitly told me what to get.
Okay. You know which haircut you get that I like, and it's when you have the scissor cut on the sides. This, you've just gone in with a number 2 razor, zoop, left the top long.
Jadé references one haircut I got once when I went long to short.
It was amazing.
So when I had long hair and then I went short, I went to this barber who was amazing in the city who no longer works there. So I can't get my hair cut
so sad.
anymore from him. So it's never going to be like that. So I think you need to move past it.
No, but you can still get a scissor cut on the sides. Guys, we're not razoring the sides anymore. Come on, grow up.
That's actually what barbers do.
No, it's enough. We need to scissor cut the sides.
That's like me telling you I really like you in blue and then going, actually, don't look shit.
We listen and we don't judge.
Awesome. All right, I got one for you.
Okay. We listen.
Oh.
Go.
You just said it.
We have to do it again together. We listen and we don't judge.
All right, sometimes when you try on multiple outfits before we go out and you ask me which one's my favourite, I just say the last one so you don't go and get changed again.
I know you do. I know you don't care about what outfit I've put on.
No, I do care, but as in you look good in all of them, but it might not be my favourite, but I just want to go.
I know.
Huh.
But which one is your favourite, usually?
Last one, always.
Can you be honest with me, though? Because it matters.
I am being honest right now.
Yeah, but tell me next time which one's your favourite.
But now if I say the last one, just pick one of the other ones, I guess. If you know I'll be fibbing.
Now I'm going to know that you're a liar.
Yeah, but you still look good in the last one, just might not be my favourite. It obviously doesn't seem to bother you, so.
Okay, well, we listen and we don't judge. Occasionally I'll wipe my nose on the hand towel and not change it. It's really gross. It's really gross. I'm sorry. But I try to do it on a bit where I know your hands aren't going.
Well, how would you know that?
Because I know you're not doing it near the hook.
Man,
That's where I
you're
wipe
gross.
mine.
You know where the hand towel is? It's in the bathroom. Do you know what else is in the bathroom? Toilet paper. Have you thought about using that on your schnoz?
Yeah, but if I'm, it crumbles in your nose.
If you're at the door and you couldn't take 2 steps back.
Mind you, I don't do this often. It's rare.
I feel like someone who's such a germaphobe and so weird with so many things, that just seems really rogue.
But if it's my germs, it's fine.
Wait, so stuff everyone else?
Yeah, pretty much.
Guys, I live with this person.
I hate hand towels at other people's houses because you never know what they're doing with them.
They'll be blowing their nose on it. I guess you can't rule that out anymore.
This is the upstairs towel, not the downstairs towel.
Oh, that makes it
So
fine then.
strangers are
I
not
never,
so...
I never use the bathroom upstairs.
Yeah, our guests aren't used. Exactly, that's what I mean. It's kind of okay.
That was sarcasm.
Okay, well, we listen and we don't judge.
This game sucks.
Your turn.
All right. Sometimes when we're like, or not anymore, we haven't done this in a long time because we had Fletcher 6 months ago and we don't really watch TV anymore. But when we used to go through at night and maybe pick something to watch, like a movie, if you ever came across something that I didn't like the sound of or didn't like the look of, I'd just say that I've already watched it.
That's what? That's blasphemous.
Well, it's better than me going, that sounds and looks like shit.
Because
if you
I
that
did
looks
think
good,
that you had seen a really weird amount of rom-coms for a guy.
No, it was more like when you want to watch, what do you call ones where there's heaps
You
of
always
singing?
said I've seen it recently, and I'm going, okay, when?
Yeah,
Because
this
I
guy-
live with you.
This guy doesn't watch TV without me.
But
so I'm
like
not sure
he
when.
does sometimes just put the phone up in the shower or something. But now
Do
I
I?
know. Now I know. Now you can never use that again, and I don't even care if you say I've seen it
But
because I'm going to
sometimes-
put it on anyway.
Sometimes it's true, so you'll never know.
Don't care. You've lost your privileges now for choosing the movies.
I want to stop playing this game.
Okay. We listen and we judge quite a bit.
Guys, we have a nice little surprise for you. We wanted to start the year by getting Dr. Love back in because we enjoyed our episode with her so much last time. We wanted to have a little chit chat to her about sort of why relationships don't work, because I'm sure in her experience she's dealt with, countless sort of relationship issues from both sides, men and women. So welcome back, Dr. Love.
Thanks for having me.
Hope you had a lovely Christmas and New Year.
I did.
Thanks so much for returning. We just had too many questions for you.
Oh, I was like laughing about the Waffle podcast for a few weeks after I saw you guys. I love it. No, thanks for having me back.
But Dr. Love, we wanted to get you back in today because we wanted to ask you a few more questions that I think might sort of help our listeners navigate some of the situations that they're in their sort of relationships and time in their life. So we wanted to start things off by just asking you, what do you think, in all your work and dealing with people, what is the most common reason that couples don't work out or split up?
It's going to sound cliche, but it's definitely communication and unresolved conflict.
So with the communication thing, there's often a stigma around men not being, probably as open and good communicators as women. So when you've dealt with that in the past, like what is your advice to either party in terms of like, getting men to sort of be better communicators? As I'm sure in most cases it's, the woman is the, decent communicator. And
Sorry, are you acknowledging that I'm a better communicator than you?
you're definitely a better communicator. Yeah, you taught me a lot when we first started
Dating.
dating about communication and how to be better, because I was definitely and probably what you just said about conflict and, resolving it, we might have had an argument. I would have been happy just to not talk about it, wake up the next day and just pretend like everything was okay. But as you said, that
It won't
actually,
be.
that leaves sort of bumps in the road. And
Yeah.
so if you want it to be a smooth path, you do need to, you know.
It's that real, you want the immediate gratification. You want to forget it now so that you can sort of pretend everything's okay. Even though you've not spoken about it, you can feel that something's not okay. And it will go like that for a few days, sometimes a few weeks, before you sort of then go, forget it. It's not worth it. But it was never resolved, okay? And so communication, you're right. A lot of males struggle communicating. They've not been given the skills. They've not been shown through, their family. Generationally, they haven't seen what communication looks like from a male's perspective. And I'm even seeing it a lot in females. Although we're natural communicators, there is a lot of women that are actually starting to shut down because they're moving into a real masculine space. So they're not starting to express what they want. Okay. Communication can be learned. That's the great thing. And like you said, you can have a partner that is patient enough and willing wants the relationship to work, that they will show you how to communicate, what works, what doesn't, and it will feel uncomfortable. Like you don't want to talk about the conflict.
Yeah, of course.
But your partner is going to keep showing up and telling you why it's important. And sometimes it takes one person in the relationship to do that. Like you don't always come to a relationship and two people are great communicators, or two people are great money makers, or two people are great at parenting. Like we are learning beings. And then I think if you can give each other the space to learn so that you can work on the relationship, okay, that's gold. Yeah.
So what's one thing people can do today to avoid ending up in that situation?
Learn how to communicate. Basically,
What about someone? Sorry to interrupt.
Yeah.
What about like how do you get to the stage to acknowledge that you need to learn it? You know, so as you know, you said men are not you know historically as good communicators. Like how does a man sort of self-reflect and say, hey, I'm not the best at communicating. I need to learn this, instead of going like, yeah, I'm fine. Like as in everything's going well for me.
So you get two sort of schools of guys around that. You'll get the guys that go, I'm fine, this doesn't bother me, I'll keep going. And they don't see the value and what it's doing to their partner. So the female is like carrying the burden of not having the closure here, because they feel it here and in their gut. Like they carry that with them and you're just blasé going about your day. Very transactional. Then you get the guys that are like, I obviously am doing something that is not working. I don't know what to do. Help me. And there's a bit of vulnerability in that. It's like you have to admit that. And as a guy, it's sometimes hard to say, I don't know how to do that. You guys are fix-it people. You know, you want solutions. You're like, no, we're going to keep plowing through. To put your hand up and go, I actually am not good at this. My relationship is worth more than me being stubborn about not communicating. I'm going to go learn it. So it depends on how much you value the relationship. Some men and women are happy to have the relationship break up or walk away from the relationship because they're so stuck in their ego around what this should look like or what I'm supposed to do or how I'm supposed to act, that the relationship is second priority to that. So it doesn't work. And it won't work with anyone. They'll keep having relationships as they go through. They won't be able to be with someone. Yeah.
I like what you said about like, you know, men are fix-it people. But I guess if you shifted how you looked at it and looked at it through a different lens, as you said, like, I don't like having these constant arguments. So how can I fix it?
Yeah.
But then looking at yourself being the one to fix, you know,
And
that you have to.
That's right. And you said there's a level of self-awareness, and that you need to practice that. That's not something that you're taught either.
Oh, for sure.
Like you need to reflect on self and go, how is this benefiting my life? How is this? How is my life compromised because of my behaviours? There's a level of self-reflection there. But if we talk about guys and them being fix-it people, you know, how do I fix this? They go straight to solution. They when their woman comes to them with a problem, they go straight, why don't you do this? Right? Solution rather than listening.
It's not about the nail.
Have you seen that video, Dr. Love?
No, is there a nail I need to see?
Oh, I'll send it to you. You can
Please
watch it
send
with
it.
all your
We've
clients.
spoken about it before
I'll
on
make
the
a
pod.
comment if
There's
I
a
need
video basically. A woman's got a nail stuck in her head and she's talking to her partner and she's going, I've got this pain in my head and I don't know what to do. And he's like, it's probably the nail. Like, take the nail out of your head. And she's like, no, you're not listening. Like, there's just a pain and it's really upsetting me. Like, I'm really affected by this pain. And he's like, yeah, take the nail out of your head, because he's trying to provide a solution, obviously.
And she doesn't want to hear
She's
it.
like,
You're
no,
not
I
hearing
just
me.
want. And then at the end he goes, I hope you're okay. You know, I love you, and let me know if there's anything I can do for you. And she's like, thank you so much.
Yeah,
That's
the
all I
pain's gone now.
needed.
The nail can stay.
Yeah.
But you know,
women.
when you think about that, like most guys, if you're on the job site or you're at work, you don't mind asking a colleague, you know, bro, like, how did you do that? Like, I'm stuck on this. How do I do this? Right? They can do the same thing in their relationship. Babe, I'm stuck on this. How do I do this? But they don't transfer the skill over into the relationship. They can keep it on the job site. They can keep it in their workplace. They can keep it around their mates. Ring up, hey, you know, I'm trying to fix my motorbike. How do I put, I don't know anything about motorbikes, but how do I don't know, put something
How
to
do I
the
put
motor?
the fuel in
accelerator
the-
or something? Right. How do I do this? Do motorbikes have a diff? Does anyone know that?
Look, you're
I don't
asking the
know.
wrong person.
Because
They
that
got-
sounded quite mechanical. I'm like, do they have a diff? I don't
They
know.
got two wheels.
Oh, there you go.
That's
How do
all
I
really
how
know.
do I inflate the tire, right?
Yes.
So, but you don't mind ringing a mate for help in those situations.
What do you think that is?
Well, it's just it's non-judgmental, and you don't feel judged when you ask a mate for that type of stuff. Okay, in a relationship, when you're noticing, it's about yourself, your self-worth, and sort of how you're showing up as a man. And men have this underlying sort of pressure to be able to be this type of person in the relationship. So they should have it all together, basically, and they don't. And so the expectation is unrealistic for the guy to be all of that. Whereas when you're ringing your mate, if you're not a mechanic, you don't feel like an idiot asking a mechanical question because he is, right? But in the relationship, you're supposed to be the bloke and you're supposed to have all the solutions and know all the answers, so you feel like an idiot. So, and that's not actually true. The woman doesn't feel that about you. They're wanting you to reach out the same way you reach out to your mate to ask for help. They want you to go, babe, I don't know how to do this, and she will help you find the solution.
When it comes to, conflict and arguing, there's obviously you can be a good listener and you can let your partner have their say, and active listen is something that I always hear when thinking about arguments. But what is like the worst possible thing that you can do whilst arguing with your partner?
We've spoke about it a little bit. It's bringing up the past. So when you are arguing, it's very important to argue about the presenting issue, okay? Because what happens is that then you create those moments of unresolved conflict because you're arguing, I don't know, let's say we're arguing over not taking the trash out and it's your night, right? Something simple. I told it's your night and now the bin's full and it hasn't gone, and that becomes an argument. And then you're bringing in, you remember, it doesn't matter what I asked for. Remember this time you don't do it. But because those things are coming up because they're unresolved, okay, stay in the argument, talk about the presenting problem, and then come up with a solution about that problem. So then the next time you have an argument, that doesn't come up because you've put it to bed. It's really important to stay present in the argument that's presenting.
So say your partner's brought something up from the past and you're trying really hard to stay on topic. Would you say something like, look, let's circle back to that at a later date.
Yep.
I'm hearing you and I'm acknowledging you. Let's just stay on
Absolutely.
topic. Okay.
The same way you would if I was in an organisation and we were talking about some conflict that was happening, you would say, okay, this is what's happening in the organisation. This is what's presenting now. This is what we have agendaed to talk about.
Yeah.
Stay on topic. I know the company's got all of these other issues. We can't talk about payroll, HR, talent management. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about this. We come up with a solution and a plan for this. We acknowledge the other stuff exists, but this is not the time for that.
It's a really great analogy to help separate the emotion from what you're actually trying to figure out,
Yeah.
which is the conflict.
Yeah.
So something I also wanted to ask you about, which I would say it might have affected me perhaps when I was younger, but maybe not so much now as an adult. So I'm sure, probably affects a lot of our younger listeners. But how do you navigate with your clients sort of insecurity around previous relationships or partnerships? Like, how do you get people to not be thinking about the past and just be, in the present with their partner?
You see this, a lot of people stay single and they go, I was great when I was single. I had no problems. And that's probably true because your stuff only shows up in a relationship, okay? While you're on your own, you don't have people coming, you don't have someone there like triggering you and having your insecurities come up. And some of those come up in regards to attachment issues, like how your attachment style. Are you anxious? Are you avoidant? Are you, where are you in your attachment style? And the best way to do that is to tell your partner. So this comes with a level of self-awareness. If you know that you have a bit of an anxious attachment style, tell your partner that I have an anxious attachment style. This is what I need from you. When I get like this is what I need from you at that time. Okay.
What's a good example of what that might be or look like?
It might be like when they're out and about for a day and really busy and hadn't had much time for their partner, and their partner starts to defaults to, oh shit, he's he doesn't want me, or he's forgotten about me. That real default type of narrative. When she's like that, she should let her partner know that when you're around for extended periods of times, I feel insecure, and it's not what you're doing, it's the stuff that I bring to the table. You can heal that part of her by actually sending the text through the day or making a quick call. Hey, honey, I've been really busy. I haven't forgotten about you. I'll get back to you in a couple of hours. Just keeping her feeling secure in the relationship. Okay, so they're little things you can do. So your insecurities will come with you. It's just a matter of working with your partner to make sure that they don't repeat and that you can feel secure. So it is your responsibility as the other partner to show up and try and work out, how do I make my partner feel secure?
Sure.
Okay.
What do you say to people who have the opinion that, no, it's not my responsibility, that's baggage that I shouldn't have to deal with, it's causing a lot of disharmony for me and it's stressing me out when I forget to text you when I'm out, for example?
Yeah. So I hear that a lot. Their emotions and the way they show up and their insecurities is their problem. That's not true. Because if you are in a relationship and just say one of you get injured and you can't work and you have a mortgage, do you say, well, too bad, we're going to lose the house, you can't work? The other one picks up the slack. What are you doing? You picking up the slack now? You've got a little baby. So the other one picks up the slack. So if you're in a relationship and the other person isn't doing too well, yes, it is their responsibility to work on themselves and be active around, how do I get through this? And one of them is to speak to their partner and saying, this is what I need from you so I can work on this, right? How do they work on an insecure attachment style when you're forever feeling insecure because your partner's going, it's your problem, not mine.
Yeah.
This is why they have an insecure attachment style, is because they got that growing up where, their parents wouldn't show up. And I'm not saying it's all parents, but, this could be an example where they didn't show up and they really wanted attention from mum or dad and they didn't get it. And so now they're like, oh, I know how that feels. It's the little person in them that is waiting for a different response so then they can feel secure.
Sure.
Yeah.
And earlier you spoke about, the good thing about communication is you can learn how to do it,
Yeah.
right? But when it comes to something like an insecurity or an attachment style, and you said that something that the partner could do is make the little phone call, send the little text, if you do that for an extended period of time, is there a way of getting out of the insecurity, or is it just you'll need to do that forever?
No.
Is it something you can grow out of
Absolutely.
as well?
So you can shift into feeling quite insecure in your relationship or having an insecure attachment style to then being, it's like when you are given many secure moments, it actually builds the foundation for you to start feeling secure. So you start to shift out of feeling insecure and you're like, I feel okay. I feel like he could go away for a couple of days and I'm okay. He's going to come back to me. He's going to call me when he gets a minute. I'm a priority. Insecure attachment style starts from not being a priority for someone when you were growing up, right? So be insecure about your needs being met.
I can actually confirm that that's true, because I felt insecure when we first started dating and now I don't anymore.
Why? We spoke all the time. We saw each other all the time. What were you insecure about?
Well, from other situations, like other relationships where I didn't feel that my needs were met, obviously, and then expected the same thing to continue happening.
Yeah.
And it took you were persistent in making sure that I felt happy and secure in our relationship, and here we are.
Yeah. So you did that just organically, showing up for her, saying no.
He constantly showed up, yeah.
Yeah, right. And so what you did, you shifted her out of feeling insecure into a place of security. And I think that is both of our jobs in a relationship. So if you came with insecurities, it would have been your responsibility to keep showing up if you want the relationship to work. If you don't want it to work, then you don't show up, basically. Yeah.
Yeah, lovely. Okay. Well, when it comes to breaking up, and, often speaking from someone who's been in relationships before my marriage, Jad's not my first missus, unfortunately, would have been nice. But being in previous relationships, and when you start to get that feeling, like you're like, this is not working for me, it's too much trouble, we're arguing all the time, and you start having those thoughts to yourself of, I don't want to be with this person anymore. When you're on the verge of those feelings, is there anything that you can do or that you recommend to people to help sort of bring it back and salvage the relationship? Or do you think by the time you're having those feelings, it's just see you later?
I think we see this a lot in women in relationships, that they actually check out of the relationship 1 or 2 years or a few months before they actually leave.
Jesus.
Right?
So you could leave me in 2 years and already be out today, Jad.
So this is what happens. Emotionally, they check out, but they stay in the relationship till they work out how they, like, if they're going to leave.
Gotcha.
And it's almost like they're watching from afar that maybe he might change or she might change. I've seen men do this as well. So they check out emotionally, and then when they call the relationship, it's like a shock to the partner, going, like, you just walked away, like you
We've
have
actually
no
had
feeling.
that happen twice recently in friendship circles of ours that we've had 2 marriages where someone's just been blindsided by it. And obviously it sounds like, they've, one party's just checked out, earlier and not really communicated that and not trying to salvage it at all and just...
Well, that's not necessarily true. It could be that they were communicating their needs and the other partner wasn't listening or didn't feel like it was a priority, and so they've checked out and sick of asking, and so now they've gone and they're like, how did that happen? And they're like, well, I've been telling you for the last 2 years what I need and you haven't heard. So that's another scenario. Okay. So if you get to the checkout stage, that's pretty difficult to come back from. Okay. So that is like literally, I'm out, I'm just waiting for the right time to leave. If you're at the stage where you're not sure, there's still a little bit of hope left in you, you can salvage the marriage or the relationship. It takes work for both of you. So it's coming to see, basically you haven't been able to do it alone, because if you did, you wouldn't be in that position. So go see someone.
Right.
So at that stage, you need a little bit of
absolutely
help from someone.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So in your experience dealing with men and women, what's the main complaint women have about men and vice versa?
They don't communicate. They don't speak.
Both ways?
No. So for men, the women are saying they don't communicate. Men often say, I don't know what she wants.
Isn't that funny?
Right? I
So
don't
what
know
you're trying
how
to say
to
is
make
Isn't
her
that
happy.
funny?
So aren't you saying there that the woman needs to be a better communicator?
Oh, my God.
Or the man needs to be a better listener.
That's true.
Right? So it's all around communication. The other thing that I see come up often is the difference in libido.
Oh, okay. That's interesting.
Yeah. So
What side
traditionally, like the male will want more, testosterone, hormonal, like they're quite sexual beings. So are women. But there's been, and it's generally not a biological, physical thing. Usually it's emotional, actually. So you start to see that the frequency of sex starts to decline the more conflict you've had and the more unresolved issues that you've got. It starts to decline on the woman's side. She doesn't want it because connection's not there. And the man keeps saying, well, this is quite stereotypical. I'm so sorry for your listeners, but I'm just saying this is what you get.
We don't judge here.
Yeah, no judgment. Good. The guy is like, she doesn't want to have sex, or, it's once every fortnight, it's nothing. I feel like she doesn't want to have it because there's an underlying issue. If you're having sex 4 or 5 times when you met and you are now having sex once a month, there's something going on. There's a displacement, there's a disparity in what's going on energetically for you two. So there's like libido issues, but mostly it's communication. Someone's not hearing and someone's not speaking.
Yeah, sounds like a pretty blanket response for most things, doesn't it?
Yeah. You think about it. In relationships, it doesn't matter which relationship you're in, work, family, intimate. If you can't talk about what you want or what your needs are or how you felt about a particular thing, you're always going to feel unheard. So it's the greatest skill you can learn.
I think I've heard something about that, where they say if you have needs that you don't tell someone about, then you're pretty much like setting yourself up for resentment.
And then for failure.
Yeah. So it's like if you don't communicate it, you're actually just shooting yourself in the foot, really.
Absolutely.
So.
And sometimes it's people's way out, that they keep it to themselves. They want to be able to blame you that this didn't work.
I just want to squeeze one more question in off the back of what you've just said.
Yeah.
In a long-term relationship, what's the secret to keeping the spark alive?
Playfulness.
Okay.
You got to keep playful. You got to have experiences that keep you joyful and connecting, and whatever that is for you too. You've got to, because if you're not doing the same things that brought you together in the beginning through your relationship, you're not going to keep the spark alive.
You've got to have fun.
Right. playful. So if you're in the beginning, if you guys used to go surfing or hiking or, you went out dancing and you don't do that anymore, you got to create experiences that keep recreating the first bit of your relationship.
Right.
Because then if you want that same feeling, how's it going to happen if you're not doing the same things?
Of course.
Right?
Yeah, when you think about it like that, it seems like a really simple answer.
It does,
Really
yeah.
It is
a tough
simple.
question.
Absolutely
Yeah.
simple. People are like, I don't know why we're falling apart or why we're not connecting. Are you doing the same things you used to do when you met? No. Why? Well, why not? Why not? That's what got you back. That's what got you that closeness. That's
I
what
love
got
that.
you. Yeah.
It's a simple answer.
Yeah.
Dr. Love, thank you so much for coming in again. We've really appreciated having you on. And as always, your insights are absolutely incredible. So thank you so much.
Thank you.
Now, if people want a little bit more from you, where can they find you?
Mostly on Instagram.
Okay.
I'm pretty active on Instagram.
Yep.
So that's Dr. so Dr. Love. And I've got a website, www.drlove.com.
Amazing. Thanks
If you get
again.
an inquiry from me tonight, I just have a few more questions.
I'll put it on my priority list.
Hopefully we'll see you again soon.
Yeah, I'll see you guys soon.
Thanks, Dr.
Appreciate it.
See ya.
All right, guys. Now, it wouldn't be a Mad About You ep unless we ended on our favourite segment, our Ask Mum and Dad segment. So today we have,
My
hey
favourite
guys.
segment is saying hello.
I know, darling. That's the one you put the most preparation into as well. All right, it says, hey guys, I recently went on a hens trip overseas and met a guy whilst out. We spent some time together, including a few nights, and just hit it off. He has a career and family overseas that he wouldn't consider leaving, but I'm just wondering what your thoughts are about moving overseas for love.
Oh, wow. That's love at first sight. That's a quick turnaround for the big L.
Well, it sounds like they're on a trip, spend a few days together, a few nights together. That's you like if you think about it, if you go on a date and you spend a few hours with someone once a week for, months, you could crash course that into a couple of days and feel like you know a person as well as someone might, regular dating for months.
I do love a holiday romance. Never had one, but love the idea of it.
Yeah, nice save.
I haven't.
Yeah, all right.
The most
It doesn't
holiday
matter now.
romance I've had is in the Maldives with you.
Do you have any advice for this lovely person or just trip down memory lane?
Look, people have moved overseas for love before. It's not crazy, but the addition of the family is obviously a little bit tricky, isn't it?
I just don't know,
Like, you really got to be sure about it.
moving overseas for love is one thing, but I wouldn't move overseas in the position that you're in where you had like a couple of day fling with someone and you got along because, everyone's vibe on holidays is going to be quite different.
Oh, yeah.
And you let your hair down, your inhibitions are a bit different, so I feel like maybe if you'd done a long distance relationship for years and you were head over heels in love with each other and you saw a future together, like you'd consider it. But I think at the stage of having a little couple day fling, personally, I would definitely not be considering moving overseas for love. I don't even like moving suburbs.
I'm a hopeless romantic, though, and I really believe that everyone's got a person. Sometimes that person's in the wrong part of the world.
Do you reckon?
Yeah.
Yeah, but if you think about it, right, if let's say that person they met was like, you go, they're 1 in a million. Well, Australia's got 25 million people, of which 12 and a half would be one sex. So that's like, there's 12 people in Australia.
Okay, honey.
You
They're
could
1 in
find
7
beer.
billion. Now what?
Well, that's a tricky one. Because I think there's about 8 billion, so
Oh.
there's like 1.1.
Oh, my God.
1.1 of them
Come
around.
on, this guy. Leave your stats out of our advice, please.
So you're saying after a few day fling, you would consider moving overseas, uprooting your life. So your work, your family, your friends, like everything you've built here, you just go, scrap that, chuck in a suitcase and go and hang out with Fernando.
All right, you met me, right? We're
Yeah.
in somewhere lovely.
Yeah.
It's warm. We've had a lovely few days together, a few nights even, dare I say.
Yeah.
Are you telling me that you wouldn't then consider?
There is not a chance.
What the hell? What kind of a soulmate are you?
I'm not
So
uprooting.
you're telling me you're only with me circumstantially?
No, if I met you overseas, I probably wouldn't be looking at it down the lens of this is like my person. I might not
Why?
even be open to it. I don't know. It's just how.
Well, that's awful news for me because I thought you were going to say, yeah, it's true. Yeah, true, honey. Now that you say that. But you've said no.
I don't really feel like it's necessary to get me in trouble for a hypothetical that is.
No, you are
not-
in trouble.
Like we're actually married, so it doesn't
I'm
matter.
going to talk to you about this later. This isn't about us. We'll discuss that in our own time.
Personally, moving overseas for love is one thing. Moving overseas for lust is another. So, yeah, you're head over heels. You've done long distance. You know they're your person. Consider it. But the stage you're at now where you had a little cheeky fling and you had a couple of fun nights together, I would be putting that to bed real
Yeah,
quick.
sick advice. Locke's wrong. I reckon just follow your heart, because that's what life's about, is about taking risks, doing crazy things and seeing where you end up.
Yeah, you just spent 8 years at university becoming a doctor. You've got a position here in one of the greatest cities in the world. Why not just sack that off and try it with Fernando over in Spain? Let's see how things go.
I think love is more important than surgery.
Yeah, but we've decided this is lust.
Okay, well, could be love.
Look, how about you go over, test it out, and then let us know how it goes?
Yeah, give it a test run. And, I think the takeaway from this is that Locke only loves me because I live in Sydney.
It does help, I'll be honest. Guys, that's all we've got for you this week. If you did have any questions or things you needed help with, or, Jadé, just to say that I'm wrong about everything, you can write into us with your issues or your questions to madaboutyou@novapodcast.com.au or send us a little cheeky DM.
Send Locke a DM.
We appreciate having your ears every week, as we always tell you, and it would mean a lot if you left us a review. But other than that, have a lovely, lovely first week of the year.
Thanks so much, guys, and thanks for Dr. Love for coming in again.
Yeah, 2025, guys. Better make it a goodie.